All right, folks, so let's talk about this equation. Y is a function of x. This is the fundamental theme for my course. This is the fundamental theme for continuous improvement. There's going to be a y is a function of x thought or consideration in every module. So we talked about Lean Six Sigma being problem solving and that problem did not equal bad. So what we want to do then in continuous improvement in Lean Six Sigma is we want to identify Y metrics or measurable things at the organization where we do not like their performance level, and then we're going to show before and after improvement against them. So one of the things I want to discuss in this example is I cannot fix opinion data. I cannot fix opinion data. So this is, for example, where I can save most of my clients immediate dollars. Most surveys today are opinion. They'll ask, for example, a major U.S. retailer in a survey that I saw on one of my receipts recently asked on a scale of 1 to 5, was the store clean? Well, my argument to this retailer is this is a useless survey question because clean is an opinion. If I have OCD and insist that my house be wiped down with bleach and ammonia 12 times before I leave every day, there's no way that this store is going to be clean enough, so I'm going to give it a 1. If I'm a hoarder and just lay around the house and, all my stuff, I would imagine this retailer, a well-known fast food chain, would be given a 5. So here's the problem with asking a question, is the store clean? Let's say we get a bunch of data and we tend to have some scores down in the 1, 2, 3 range, but then we have a lot of 5s. My argument is when this data comes back to corporate, they're going to do several things wrong. One, they're going to say that the average score for clean is 3.5, which doesn't exist. Secondly, 3.5 may actually look fairly decent. Thirdly, they're going to look at these low scores and they're going to ask the store manager, what are you going to do about it? And my answer, if I was the store manager, would be nothing. I'm not going to do anything. If pressed to do something, if I'm told I must take action, then my answer will be, then I'll just get a group of people in the room and we'll just make up what we're going to do because you didn't give me anything measurable. I don't know what the definition of clean is. So right out the gate, I want to stress that when I'm talking about Y metrics, these have to be things that are measurable. They have to be things that are measurable. So let me give you an example. I once had a major, I shouldn't say major, I had a manufacturing facility in South Georgia call me up and they said that they heard I was a problem solver. I said, yes, I am. They said, we'd like you to solve a problem. I said, well, tell me what it is. And they said, our third shift employees are not motivated. That was what he said on the phone. Our third shift employees are not motivated. And I asked him if he had any a budget for a quick spend. What could he put on the purchasing card without authorization? And we said about $1,000. I said, I'm going to be down there. I'm going to do my best to draw a party hat and maybe a clown. I'm not an artist. I said, but I'll be down there at 7 in the morning. That's when third shift got off. And I'm going to have clowns and ice cream cake. And you can imagine there was silence on the phone. The guy's thinking to me, I've been referred to this professor and consultant, and he's talking about clowns and ice cream cake. But my argument was, if you get off work at 7 in the morning, you've been working from 11 to 7, and there's clowns and ice cream cake, and you get to take home balloon animals to your children and a little frozen cake for your partner, you're going to be really excited. In fact, you might be really motivated. But what my point was to him is, I don't know what I'm supposed to show you before party, and after party improvement on, because this is an opinion. I cannot fix an opinion. So the major emphasis when doing Lean Six Sigma and continuous improvement is you have to give me a metric. In an earlier example, I said that I weigh 240 pounds. That is specific and measurable. I did not say that I am overweight because that is an opinion, okay? So when I talk about Y is a function of X. To do Lean Six Sigma, you need to give me a Y metric, and then we need to establish what is its baseline today, and then we need to establish where do you want it to be. So in our vernacular, we're going to call this our problem, and we're going to call this our goal. So one of the common things you'll hear when someone's applying Lean Six Sigma is what is your problem and what is your goal. So my problem is I'm 240 pounds. My goal is actually the opposite of this. I want to drop to 225. Okay? Other quick examples of Y metrics in business. I have done projects on how long it takes to hire somebody. You know, if we look at a HR project, you know, people say, well, Lean Six Sigma is only for manufacturing. Well, don't you have problems in the hiring process? Does it take too long to hire somebody? And you start to get the heads nodding. Well, I didn't know I could apply Lean Six Sigma to human resources. Absolutely. I had one client, it took 60 days on average. So that means most of the time it took 60. Well, we know in business to have an average, you've got to have a high and a low. We looked at one case of someone hired in 135 days, and we looked at another case where someone was hired in 5. So this tells me there's certainly an opportunity for improvement, and this tells me they might be worse than they think. So the Y metric ended up being, what do we want to fix? Days to hire. And of course, looking at my charts that I've been doing, if we take that approach, days to hire is here, and they wanted to get it down to here. We were able to get days to hire down to about 38. As there were some issues. This was a subsidiary of a larger company, and so there were some issues that we couldn't address. So the major function for this course is going to be Y as a function of X. Let me give you one more quick example, manufacturing example. So we've got an HR. How about in manufacturing? I'll just erase a little bit of space here. One of the metrics I've done before is tires per day. I've done a lot of work. For some odd reason, I've become somewhat of an expert in the tire industry. And generally, it's nothing proprietary here. Every manufacturer of tires wants to get more tires per day out. So let's say on average, our Y metric is we do 20,000 tires per day. I'm going to teach you in a later module how to come up with a goal, but let's say that our goal is going to be to increase that to 21,380. Just another great example of a Lean Six Sigma problem and goal statement. Notice nowhere in these two examples did we give any opinion. We were specific and measurable. So I'll see you in the next module.